Well, good day, folks. How you doing today? Hope you're having an awesome day. Well, mixing up a little bit today. It's a nice sunny day. It's nice and warm. I figured I'd come outside, particularly because the knife we're looking at today really just shines in the sunshine. And this is another one on loan from Mike at Rasputin's Castle, and it is a relief knife. Now, a relief is a sculpting process whereby you sculpt into the surface of the medium you're working with and bring a 3D image out. And this is common through history. You can see it in ancient architecture for various cultures, from the Mayans to the Aztecs to the Sumerians, and up through time. And it's still popular today. So it gives you a very nice look, especially on something like brass or copper. We can see here what looks to be a duck hunter with his shotgun in the reeds. He's got his faithful puppy dog at his side. You see probably some water down here. And this one has the same image on both sides. Now, the process for doing this traditionally would be to sculpt into the material. In this case, it may be sculpted. For a mass-produced knife, I doubt it. They probably did something like with coins, where you carve one blank and then just stamp it in to each coin. Now, they could have done that by stamping it onto the surface of the metal or laying the metal over the sculpture and then pressing down to push it up through. But very, very pretty knife. Love the scene, and these knives could have a variety of scenes. Could be from hunting and outdoor stuff to just general designs and patterns to racing to golfing, whatever you want. So a lot of times these tended to be small pocket knives. This one here in this case is a two-bladed knife. Comes in without the bail. About 3 3/8. Has an extremely thin profile. And you end up with two blades. You have a long spear point blade on one end. And on this case, you have a small pen blade on the other end. Now, the bail in this case could be just to hang it on a lanyard or something like that. But in many cases, and particularly in this case, these were watch fob knives. So this is a knife that would have a chain run to it, to a pocket watch, which then would have a chain run to a button on your vest or something like that. So this would be connected by chain to a pocket watch. Now, that's particularly worth note in this case, because this particular knife, we can see here, is an Arnex, and it is stainless and manufactured in Solingen, Germany. Now, the Arnex company, I did a lot of research on this one, and I'm left probably with more questions than I started with. Mike noted that this was an Arnex from 1920 to 1940. And there was indeed an Arnex company, 1920 to 1940, that was producing pocket watches and, from what I can tell, pocket knives. And they kind of had a bit of a resurgence after World War II, but mainly it was 1920 to 1940. And here's the issue with the Solingen knives. During World War II, Solingen, Germany was heavily bombed, and a lot of records were lost. So sometimes it can be a little tricky tracking down information on these companies. But also, there was an Arnex that was very big in the 70s and 80s and into the 90s that produced pocket watches and little gentleman's knives like this. So, I'm left trying to figure out which, is it the same Arnex company? Are there two separate companies? Did somebody revive the name, or just, 30, 40 years later, just another company adopted the same name? I don't know. So it's tricky to date this one. But I mean, here's a picture here from a 1973 to 1974 Arnex catalog where they show a very similar knife, and you can see the chain that attaches it to the pocket watch. The Arnex company from the 70s and 80s mass-produced pocket watches primarily for the American market. And they're collectible, but not viewed highly in value. They didn't use the best materials or the best mechanisms and whatnot. So with some of the reading I did see, and as a tip to you all out there, if you're looking on eBay and you see a 70s, 80s Arnex pocket watch come up and they're asking big money for it, from what I can read in the collector end of things, US prices, they're, $25 for one of those pocket watches, because they weren't the best materials and they were heavily produced. So the research left me with probably more questions than answers. How do you determine if a knife or a pocket watch was made in the 1920s to 1940s by Arnex, or was made in the 70s and 80s by Arnex? And are they even the same Arnex company? But it's a great little knife. I mean, single back spring. Well, other than that, I can tell you that the Arnex knives made from 1920 to 1940 were made in a variety of places, including Solingen, Germany, where this one was made, Mexico, Taiwan, and Japan. But just a fabulous looking knife. Just the way it picks up that sun. And would be a great gentleman's knife out on the town, hooked up to your best pocket watch, and you'd have a good looking knife to go along with your good looking suit. And if you needed it, you had a knife. Should you need to cut some fruit or peel an apple, maybe cut a string off a lady's dress or your own suit. And if it was back in the day, you had a pen blade to sharpen your quill. Just a fabulous looking knife. And the themes, would cater to your interest. If you were a hunter and you were out on the town or at a social gathering and you brought out this knife, well, there's a great conversation starter about your hunting hobby. Or if you were a golfer and had a golfer relief on it, same thing. So kind of neat. And definitely a thanks to Mike for sending this my way to review. Go check out his channel. You'll see other relief knives in his collection, and just a variety of very old, very new, very simple, very complex knives of every sort you can imagine. And a great deal of information and history on each one. So go check out Mike's channel. Anyway, folks, we will leave it there. It's a nice sunny day. I'm going to do some work out here, maybe do some planting in the garden. And I hope it's sunny where you are. And if you're not having the best day, take some time, go for a walk in the woods. Maybe just walk on a hiking trail, go for a walk in the woods. If you're in the woods, let people know where you're going. Bring some fly dope, because they're definitely out. And if you do, take a knife with you. Might just come in handy. You all take care.